happen, especially around those first few tower taking procedures, like around the exorcism. Don't just run straight up into the Death Prophet. I feel like it's a recipe for disaster.
I really wonder what the itemization is going to be from Melodil as well, because without a doubt, there's a lot of opportunities for him to be blown 4-0 this game. So very intrigued on what the decision's going to be for him. If it's like you don't really have an offlaner that builds auras. I mean, Dawn still has a pretty versatile item build, but I think it still your common like
30 seconds to battle.
Ag Shard, your Blink, your BKB.
Yeah.
Maybe
Deso.
there's some, Deso, this game for Scepters, but we really don't see like the aura builder. So does this go back to like the offlane Death Prophet? But then, what's your scaling like? We've seen like Treads, Witchblade, and like Scepter and like a Shivas or something. So very intrigued on what the choice is going to be for Melodil.
I mean, the other thing is maybe he just doesn't care about it. You could look to get a pretty standard Death Prophet items like a BKB. Obviously, that's not going to save you if you're getting dueled, for example. But as long as you're outside the duel, you should be just fine. And you've got to remember what supports he's got playing behind it. You've got a Fade Bolt and a Wave of Terror, and that damage reduction stacks additively. So let's say it's Wave of Terror level 4, 30%. Fade Bolt level 4, 35%. That's a 65% damage reduction that you're able to get on top of potential level 10 Rubik talent as well to make it even greater. So that's the sort of thing that they might be just looking to set up for to prevent any sort of physical damage coming through onto the DP. And then you've even got a heal from the Dawnbreaker as well, right? This is why I just feel like it's so vital for the target prioritization to be just super on point by VP. Don't get baited into the big, glowy, obvious Death Lady.
Well, I guess one thing for them as well with that previous game, again, lanes went well and early game went very well for them. So the catalyst for that though was Squad X, the man that we currently see on the screen. So we'll see how different this lane's going to be now, not up against the melee matchup. And we'll see what FNG is able to do with the hands of the Nature's Prophet as well. That was we saw him play the Nature's Prophet, right, versus Matreshka, yeah?
Yes.
We saw some... no, we didn't play it. Who was it? We saw someone play it and looked very, very good, and we were quite impressed. Oh, Seneko. So... We'll see what the decision is going to be for FNG. Of course, whether the skill build difference, the item build difference as well. But we were speaking about inside the draft. This bottom lane, Legion's usually one of the better offlaners to be able to deal with Shigetsu. Not when you've got a level advantage though. So you see that currently Melody and Shigetsu having a good time. They're actually going to try and jump in with FNG. Really nice starter step. Melody moves cleanly through the bramble, and FNG's rotation will give him nothing, and meanwhile it means Kiritich alone. So Denial and Malik, they sense a free opportunity with a vulnerable Kiritich. Easy first blood picked up for Navi.
Yeah, instantly went for it as well as they make another jump in onto the Legion Commander. This time around, even Melody's level 2, so he's going to have that little bit of extra damage so that Shigetsu is going to be able to start making that permanent Agi stack start to build up.
Ooh. Dude, that would be so frustrating. You try and make your play bottom, it doesn't work out, you give up first blood, then as soon as FNG leaves the lane, Navi go back in once again.
I'm also just not confused, but I'm interested to see what Natus goes for his item build. He's got a Blade Mail queued up, but you got to say, like, against a DP, Dawn, Slark, not exactly the greatest Blade Mail game, right? Most of the time you see Blade Mail going up against a Terrorblade or a Morphling or a Medusa, like these big, beefy chads that just want to stand there and have huge amounts of right-click, whereas, Slark, Dawn, they kind of a little bit more right-clicks and, a little bit of that slower damage, and they get better the longer these fights go on, too.
I do think the armor component's very nice for him.
Sure. But I'm just thinking, like, what else could he potentially consider if he just wanted to have both the armor? Obviously, he can go phase boots, so that gives you a little bit. But is there anything else that you can consider, like an early-ish AC? I don't know. Probably not.
No, you need a more cost-effective item. I think the only thing you compare is, like, Armlet.
Yeah.
But... which is... I mean, we haven't seen Armlet Legion in a super long time.
Nope.
I think just Blade Mail at the moment is just... have we seen a Legion?
I've seen much better Blade Mail games,
Yep. 100%. You see bottom, some back and forth going on. Resources being expended between either side. Importantly, Shigetsu has... Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry, he brought out a stack of tangos. Didn't see that in the backpack. Top lane as well. Kiritich continuing to brawl as well. So both the side lanes going to be a lot of action. And currently mid, Squad X is having a fine time. 21-6 compared to the 19-5 from Melodil. Bottom lane. Notice should be able to go down here with a blood grenade. Not enough. And meanwhile, Melody forced to eat the Lotus. Gonna make sure he doesn't pop back out. Shigetsu's still hunting Notice, but Salva's being applied. They're gonna reinitiate onto Sayush, and as a result, they're gonna be rewarded with a second stack for Shigetsu.
Got to remember how last game went for that mid lane.
Oh, nice pounce. He's might be dead here unless the odds movement speed's enough, and it's not. Shigetsu. What a pounce from him over the tree line. Just nailed him. G, not done. Pretty good boundless timing. Stops the stun. They're going to try and turn it to Malik, but yeah, no way FNG lives, especially once Denial is playing on the outskirts, continue to right-click through. So Navi's laning stage is going swimmingly.
And the thing that I was just about to mention was, remember that last game, it was like a 1.5, 2K laning stage net worth advantage for Squad X. Obviously, he's still doing well in this lane against a ranged hero, but not the same level of domination as what we saw last time around. Even around these 6-minute power runes, you're going to have that exorcism available. I wonder if there's a way that Melodil can look to influence this lane just so that the siege creep can survive for as long as possible, so that you have that heading into the tower alongside your exorcism.
They got pretty decent supports to rotate as well. I think that's always the important thing with like a DK level 6 or Death Prophet level 6. We're going to see Denial start to move. Sayush as well is coming from bottom, so I mean, of course, we got that power rune timing.
Cardi will die though, at least, so avoid the absolute worst of things.
They're gonna go for the kill. Echo committed from Squad X. Let's see if they're gonna have the damage, and they do. Okay. They'll blow up Melodil, and now this should be the power rune secured for Squad X as well.
Okay. Requires 3 people to be able to do it though, and I mean, you just have to consider what's happening in some of the side lanes when all this is happening. Malik still able to farm just fine up against Kiritich. Slark having a great time at bottom next to the Legion Commander, and now you know that you don't have the Echo Slam when you do have the Exorcism available. So where exactly is he going to look to make the play? Looks like it's still going to be around mid. But yeah, are you going to be able to make another rotation through on the VP supports to be able to assist this? The plus side is that they just use the global teleport, not the TP scroll, to be able to make that happen for FNG.
Oh, well
like he's
done,
going to be saved as well by Kiritich, yeah.
And now he's really going to be cautious if he keeps going for the kill. And cut his way out. I see it on Kiritich, swinging over to protect his support. We do have the Wisdoms up as Melody and Sayush. Going to go toe-to-toe. And you just stunned a little bit early on, so Sayush going to be able to pick that up. Meanwhile, FNG looks for the snipe. Might be able to find the deny instead with the Sprout. Denial loses vision. So regardless, it'll be a 1-for-1. But of course, at least FNG doesn't lose his life to Navi.
Unorthodox, but effective.
They are stabilizing this laning phase without a doubt.
You got to make sure you're snowballing on that Shaker though, right? We saw that Squad X did start to fall off a little bit once a few more of those items started to come out. Once you were playing around those auras, he wasn't able to like 100-0 people, kind of like what he did with Melodil. And that wasn't even him solo. You needed the Willow and the Nature's Prophet there to be able to make it happen. So he has the confidence to be able to say, you know what, I've got the stuff to be able to make the early game happen again. He's got to keep that ball rolling. It's going to be around those power runes as well, which is why once again we see so many supports converging around this sort of area. Maybe even looking to set up for a fight. Malik TP's back to base. He's got the Solar Guardian available. Doesn't look like they want to take the bait, and well, it's a nice rune for them to be able to pick up though.
Did you try and now for Melodil, maybe look to shove this next wave and make it go with the Arcane and Exo to be able to use together?
Makes a lot of sense to me. Looks like they just want to try and slow this one down a little bit with the illusions, but honestly, it'll make their life even easier with the tower doing a good job of being able to help damage the wave. And yeah, you still do have, again, that Solar Guardian available. Have to be careful with Kiritich just being able to interrupt it with a Boundless Strike, though. Let's see, Malik's just watching what's happening in this mid lane, not contesting creeps at all, wanting to make sure he's got the potential to be able to saving there. Even just popping a salve underneath the tower. Not going to get rid of it. And again, you know, you got Echo Slam available once again, but no real way to be able to join into a lot of these fights. Might even be able to catch him out if he's not completely on the mark.
Nice fissure.
They'll still get the tower though. So good use out of the first Exo.
And also, Slark is free farming bottom. So you could leave Shigetsu alone with the solid start they gave him. All the kills early on in the lane meant that he was able to play 1v1 versus Legion, actually forced Natus all the way back to base. And yeah, meanwhile, Malik, I mean, he was kind of zoned a little bit, but, you know, still, importantly, he didn't die. So not only did they get that tier 1 tower mid, but you also had a lot of other things going their way on the other side lanes.
He's just getting his levels. He's having a totally fine time. As long as you've got that Celestial Hammer with plenty of points into it, you're always going to be able to at least like shove waves and make sure that there's a lot more pressure going onto the VP side of the map. And also, you know,
this is deep, man. Oh, they're going to be able to get the kill still. Big swipe from Malik. It's not going to matter. Someone TP, I think the Dark Willow TP down and cancelled as soon as they saw the damage. So, all right, well, Navi strike again. She gets you 4 permanent Agi, man. 10 minutes into the game.
Should be feeling very confident right now. And yeah, I was kind of feeling on the same boat as you. Like, are they going to be able to confirm this kill? Obviously, with the Dawnbreaker, they were. But the real question to me comes is, where is this dual damage going to come from? Like, he is looking to rush into that Blade Mail before even getting into something like the Phase Boots, just wanting to be able to be a bit scarier to be gone onto. But I feel like until the Shaker has his Blink Dagger, you don't really have any way to be able to start a lot of these fights, right? You can't leave the Slark solo down here, but you being there runs the risk of you dying as well. So it's like, what do you actually look to do in this lane? Is it, you know, pull the lane back as far as possible? We can see Sayush is madly trying to deny as many creeps as he can, just so that you're under the relative safety of your tier 1 tower.
Tree from Kiritid's top lane. Gets out before the smoke's able to connect from Navi. So they've got this Exo to use once again. Looks like it's going to be another converter tower. They might not even use the Exo, this catapult wave. And I mean, this feels so nice for a Death Prophet when you're going to even have to use the tower. Sorry, use the ultimate. And, I mean, we often say, like, DP, how many times are you able to convert on the Exos? All right, they're coming through. We'll be able to read this from Virtus.pro. Looks like they're going to play back, but no one else is looking to be with them at the moment. If at least the name of the game for them is just avoid fights currently. They really do not feel strong at all.
Nope. Again, they're just waiting for this Echo Slam to be available with the Blink Dagger. He's got it, but he's going to need to be able to go all the way back to base to be able to pick up a little bit of extra mana. Maybe wants to play around a Power Rune, gets given over a Clarity for now, just because you can't be off the map for that long. Like, is this bottom tier 1 really what you're wanting to be contesting? Doesn't seem like that's the case with Melajul TPing back towards the mid lane, looking to try and get that next Power Rune available. And you can see FNG saying, hey, always be careful of who you feel is killable, because that Dawnbreaker is ready to go.
Oh, nicely done. Don't know the Blink's up now. Good wave of terror from Melody. So we're going to try and contest for the regen, though, but at the moment there's a numbers advantage favoring Navi.
That's even without the Dawn. So Echo Saber already picked up for Shigetsu. Good start for him. We'll never need to go back to base because he's got the Occult Bracelet as well. So mana regen, health regeneration off the ultimate. And their timing is a little bit different. You know, they just want to wait for the Diffusal Blade to come through on him. You want to wait for this Echo Saber on Malik, and you know, if you can get into a Witchblade as well on Melajul, gives him that armor that we were thinking he desperately needed, as well as a little bit of an easier way to enable your other 2 cores as well.
What a raid. I don't know who it was from Navi. I think it was actually Melajul. I saw him draw on the map and then scanned exactly where VP were moving with that smoke. So perfect read from them. I mean, it gave time for Malik, of course, to be able to back on off. He's going to stack up the Ancients. You're free farming everywhere across the map. Right, Navi, just, again, like we said, Virtus.pro, like, they looked very good to start game 1. Navi, they picked up momentum as the game went on, but off the back of the win, the confidence is definitely there, and they're continuing to play at a really high level.
And this is where you get that advantage of playing together with a squad for such a long time, right? They've given them the confidence to be able to say, we've got this. And, well, they're all putting it together. You know, this is the perfect time of year to really be hitting your strides as well. Wouldn't it be great to see Navi back at the International?
Without a doubt, this a huge organization. Not only Dota, I mentioned esports as a whole, Navi. I mean, this could really turn the tides of this game as a whole. Squad X, they're going to try and jump in, and that's a lot more damage than we're expecting, but Melody's able to get the swap in the nick of time, and now how can they take the fight? As Kiritich does his best to use the Wukongs along with the Jewel, everything for sort of the Death Prophet, and in the end, it doesn't look that bad for Virtus.pro, especially when Squad X lands a double stun in the tree line like that. It's going to be up to Shigetsu to turn the tide, but the Fission as well. It's going to prove to be a little bit annoying here from Squad X. Still can dance in and out. So she's got another round of the spells as well. And that should spell the end of this engagement. Pounce is there if he wants to go for it, but Sayushi's out. So in the end, 3 for 2. Virtus.pro actually pretty good fight, all things considering, with that swap from Melody.
Yeah, you could see that the swap was a little late, I feel, you know, and same sort of thing with the Dawnbreaker ulti, maybe just wanting to see if everyone was wanting to commit for it. But the big thing was you do still have the damage at this stage of the game to make that sort of stuff happen. I feel like that's not going to be the case in the next little bit, right? The Earthshaker Echo Slam doesn't really scale to the same extent as something like just having a bunch of extra HP will. You can see Melojul right now, he's just prioritizing physical damage. If he picks up a plate mail and looks to make that similar sort of play, I really don't think he dies. You can even look to have someone like Melody on the backline with a medallion or a Solar Crest to be able to buff him up even further, delay the need to use the Nether Swap a little bit. And I mean, maybe even just now, without the Echo Slam being available and the Wukongs, they feel confident to be able to move on forward. But you know what? They've already taken all tier 1 towers, so probably not needing to immediately. But any time that it is nighttime, of course, Shigetsu feels so heavily enabled on this Slark. Hit up to those big early timings in the Echo Saber and the Diffusal Blade. So he's going hunting with the rest of the boys.
Yeah, this next under 5 minutes for VP is super scary. You've got Fissure as well. It doesn't matter if it's only level 1. That with the Slark it's pretty much guaranteed kills on a vast majority of VP heroes. And now this is pretty deep, but I guess they can swap him outside the tower's range. And nice turnaround though, but the stun lock Shigetsu. Not enough to be able to keep Natus alive, but they should be able to get the kill onto Mr. Malik. Instantly eats the Terrorize once he jumps in. And Virtus.pro, they find 2 kills as a result. Yeah.
Such a good feel. Like, it just blocked them off in between, made sure that they weren't able to confirm that kill super easily, and what should have been a 1-for-1 ends up being so much worse.
They're going to continue to hunt. Shigetsu pouncing 5. Earthshaker's got Echo Slam back up. Is he going to be fast enough on the TP though? Can blink over the top. Do they want to go for Melojul instead? Another good Fission, man. Squad X, what is he doing to them? These fissures back to back. Let's not speak about the Echo Slam. A little bit unnecessary. We can speak about all the other spell casting that he's had so far. They were incredible to be able to guarantee that double kill under the tier 2 tower. And now the Slark kill, they also see Denial. So they might be able to get in range, and they will. That's going to reveal the ward on the cliff. Unfortunately with the blade bell, in fact, he actually ticked out, so they went get the jewel.
It was a taunting Echo Slam, man. It was fine.
Yes.
Radiant structures are
He's really going to show why they put so much faith into picking him, one of his signature heroes for this mid lane as well. He's even working his way towards the Aghanims, just one component away too, so they really need to put a little bit more respect onto him.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of damage between the two with the Bedlam as well. Even Kiritich wants to come through the rift. And why not put the emphasis on it? They need to secure the scaling from Natus, and after getting those dual victories, definitely will be that potential. Now Melody's got to be cautious bottom as well if they want to go back through. It will not. Okay.
I understand why the Dawn's up that deep, right? Like, tier 1 tower is gone. This is not a safe place on the map for a VP to be playing around, especially when you've got that Slark available and it's nighttime, right? But, I mean, that's what you kind of need to do. You need to think of the next level plays. What might not be smart in just a regular pub game becomes, you know, something that you next level mind game someone on. Just saying, you know what, they don't expect us to be here. We know the Solar Guardian isn't available. We know he's so close to the BKB. Let's kill him while he can. Feels like to me like they're just waiting for that level 12 on the Death Prophet. Level 2 Exo already picked up the Plate Mail and a Dragon Scale and a Witchblade, so lots of armor for Melojul to be able to play around with, to be able to resist a lot of this damage coming through. And it does put a whole lot more emphasis onto Squad X, mostly with his Echo Slam, but even just the Dark Willow. You know, if Sayush is able to get his own level 12, he's also got a Veil of Discord to be able to play around with as well. So again, that burst potential can be there, but it's always the main concern for mine that you need to be mindful of the Dawn and the Vengeful Spirit with that swap potential.
They're the big things, but like you said, with this burst, maybe it just catches them off guard. Maybe the calculations, they feel like they can stand a little bit further away. So we'll see how the Veil is going to come into play with that level 12 almost picked up for Sayush. It looks like both sides are kind of gearing up. Maybe have another crack at things.
Okay, well, they want to go for a smoke. I'm not sure how on board I am with this, though. You've got Squad X just 100 gold away from his blink. You've still got 45 seconds left of the nighttime. So any sort of vision advantage is going to be favoring Na'Vi here.
I don't think he needs to be involved in the smoke. I think it'd just be the Will on the Legion and he shows on the lane.
Yeah.
Shigetsu would be huge, though. Shigetsu would be a gigantic kill. Smoke, and the nighttime advantage might favor him. Smoke's gonna pop.
Oh, he runs in.
Look at them, completely surrounded him. Instant reaction with the Shadow Dance. Echo's gonna be out as well. The Solar Guardian's gonna be clutch. It'll stop the duel from coming out. Malik's huge, but it's not gonna matter. As soon as Natus holds him down for a second, Navi's still gonna consider about taking the fight. They'll come in with the Exo, but Malik duel is split from the rest of the team. So it's another core that goes down, and now Virtus.pro, they're looking to clean up. They'll chase down Melody, and they'll even consider about Melodule as well. He's pretty goddamn speedy though with the Death Prophet.
That was
Or does he get greedy for the Arcane?
Oh.
Okay, they're not hunting, it's alright.
That was pretty greedy, though, jumping in on the Slark. You know, if they're making any sort of rotations like that in that area, it's not because they're just sitting back and passively farming. They know you've got the vision advantage. So for him to jump in without a BKB, without that second pounce available, he was just food. And, well, you're continuing to scale now unnoticed. It was just the level 1, I believe, duel at that period of time. But now he's level 12 and he's going to start picking up his farm and his scaling so much more.
Now, there's that Scepter completed, already component for the BKB. And yeah, no, a couple huge mistakes. Na'Vi looked great in the lane, but Virtus.pro, again, like we said, they stabilized the lanes and now they've stabilized the early game as well, accumulating a big need and a big lead. And it looks like they're even thinking about Roshan as well. They've got the Desolator minus armor, you've got the Solar Crest as well. So this should be a free Roche with no Exo nor Solar Guardian.
No Exo, no Solar Guardian, get the Roche. But Na'Vi are close to picking up a few things, right? You're 600 gold away from a Solar Crest for Melody. That feels pretty nice. You're closing on the 4-star for Denial, so good way to be able to get through the Fissure, to be able to break up the potential Wukongs. You've almost got you've got the BKB and an Echo Saber once again finished for Malik. You've got an Aghanim Scepter now for Shigetsu, and closing in on a Shiva's Guard as well. So it's going to be a scary next minute or two, but in 3 minutes time, I'm really feeling that Na'Vi can still look to take this one when it ticks back over to nighttime.
Do we feel like the decision of no BKB from the Death Prophet might come back to haunt her?
I think next item absolutely has to be the BKB. I like the fact that she's gone this heavily into armor, just because that's where the vast majority of the damage is coming from. And if you're the one getting jumped, you're not going to be able to pop that BKB, right? So having that as a damage reduction tool against the likes of the Bedlam and the Echo Slam, it's really not going to do too much of anything. I feel like they could just go without hitting some of these timings, though. With the Medallion, they know that they're underneath some sort of vision. It's going to be in the lane, though. Slightly off the mark there, Effigy. He knows that he's been able to waste 50 gold.
And you get a Ag Shot as well for Sayush, so very nice one. I think it's just overall important to always get those Tormentors as fast as you can, especially with the potential of maybe a core Earthshaker getting it on the second or even third one. I mean, for Radiant, you've got some pretty decent shards. Venge is, I mean, nothing to slouch at. I mean, the telekinesis as well can be quite nice inside the chain control that VP are playing with. So we'll see when Na'Vi want to commit to it.
Yeah, it's been a couple of times where Melodule has just been isolated by her. Again, the best part of this game for me has been Squad X's Fissure placements. Like, he has been on point with those every single time. And if you can use the Rubik Shard to be able to reposition so those aren't quite as big of a deal, that's going to be a really useful tool to have at your disposal. But, well, we've got a 4-star on the Rubik now. We're 100 gold away from Shivas on the Death Prophet. Still a little bit away from the Solar Crest and level 12 on Melody. But these are the sort of items that you need, and they're going to hit them at this pretty decent timing. 3 minutes left on the Aegis. I really feel like you could afford to wait this one out. If you wanted to go before it's gone, just wait a minute and a half. That's all they're really waiting for right now, and VP aren't going to give them that chance, going for a smoke of their own. It's a fast tree right there. Hopefully he walks back so that he gets the courier delivering the BKB outside of any sort of Navi vision, which he does. Doesn't seem like they want to give up anyone for free, though. Denial's going to be the one on the front line, swaps in the smoke, ready to make a play of his own. Don't quite see him. But they've waited out the worst of this Aegis. Right? They've gotten through a lot of it. It was one bad team fight that led into the Roshan, but nothing really after that.
We saw that last game Navi for them, just to be able to stall the game out and find their farm. You know, they felt confident as this game goes on. How do we feel by this game in particular, though? Is it similar where, you know, maybe they're going to have the strength once we get to the later stages?
I think they will, but the main concern for me is, does Natus continue to scale? That's the big X factor for mine. If you can avoid getting pick off, if you can avoid this Legion commander starting to scale yourself, then that's going to be such a vital tool. And I mean, they're almost picking up into another one of those items that's going to prevent that from happening. We see a Depth Shroud shard coming out for Shigetsu to be able to avoid the worst parts of the duel coming through. Melody as well, joining together with the rest of the team. They really don't want to lose this tower. And again, using the nighttime immediately once it becomes available for themselves. Just short of level 12 though on the Venge. For the extra range on the swap would be quite nice. Malik,
see how they
feels like he's the tankiest hero right now with the Van Brace.
See how they start.
Health. Full wraparound, which I quite like. They probably see the courier too. They know the general position that they're going in. Denial, can't reveal on the wave if the smoke pops.
And it will. Squad X. Oh, gonna be really worried about what the Earthshaker's gonna do now with the double damage rune. Early BKB from Melik. Are you forced to commit now? It's looking awkward from Navi. I mean, Melik's going to be so cautious inside these fights. They might jump him. But the fissure from outskirts. Nice swap from Melody. Squad X gets an opening for the double echo slam, but it's not enough to get the kill. A lot used from Virtus.pro. Curativ's going to be able to hunt down Melody. There's a duel out, but with the Solar Guard, and it's not going to be enough sustain as well. Once the rest of Virtus.pro make it up on the high ground, they can also chase down Melody because Shigetsu never felt free to enter the fight. We didn't see the impact of the Slark, and it means that Virtus.pro will find 4 members and they go completely untouched inside that team fight.
It's just the difference in positioning, right? We were talking about how important it was last game for them to be able to find out the heroes like the Darkseer. This time around, they force a bad movement out of Na'Vi, you know, just with their positioning on point, making sure to play around their vision as much as possible, even just holding a Monkey King inside of the tree line for that extra little bit of information that they're able to play with. They force out a really early BKB, they force out a bad swap, and it also means that Natus is just totally free to be able to land that duel and once again continue to scale.
Under attack.
It's even got a BKB coming out for him. Another really nice fissure as well.
Yeah.
Able to be used to block off escape avenues in that fight. Squad X, the MVP for mine by far this game. 6-0 and 6 so far.
And a 10,000 net worth lead now for Virtus.pro off the back of that big team fight. So we do still see though with nighttime, means that VP kind of have to group up as 5.
Well, now they know that there's no Aegis, at least, so they've got that going in their favor, but you don't have Exo. That's a big part of your damage output, and it feels like all VP need to do is avoid that start of the fight, you know, and they've got tools to be able to do it with the fissure blocks, with the blinks.
Dude, this would be a great spot. This would be a great spot for Virtus.pro, especially with Navi already losing their resources, and they're here to take the fight as Natus gets a jump in. Swap's going to make it awkward, but the Wukong's command gives him firm control of the area. How can Squad X look to use the Echo? It's just solo onto the Death Prophet, but it will take him out of the equation. And now Denial's going to be chased down from FNG. They're not even done just yet, as Melody as well is caught over by the statue. As Virtus.pro, again, 0 casualties from them.
I think they saw just like one particle effect inside of the fog there. I want to say it was the Venge magic missile hitting the Tormentors, so they were 100% guaranteed that that's where they were looking to make that sort of play. such a great movement as well. Ward placed down by FNG as well, giving them a lot of the tools to be able to take that fight with utmost confidence, and even just the Echo Slam coming up mid-fight once again, just sealing the deal for them. 11k net worth lead, lots of outer towers being taken, and very little map for NAVI to have to play around.
They're hunting Shigetsu. They saw him inside the river. Probably can't go for this Korea wave now, especially with the scan connecting. Doesn't know on who, but be able to get that wisdom. FNG secured it.
Would love to have his level 3 ulti, 45-second Shadow Dance cooldown, the BKB as well. I think that's the big thing, right? Of course, you're always afraid of getting dueled by the Legion Commander. You are one of the big counters to that with your Depth Shroud. So you got to make sure you're not the one being in there on the front lines, but who can be? Ooh, won't be able to get the courier. But they do see where he's looking to play around, and Squad X, he's playing next to him. He's also got a Crystallis that's freshly picked up as well. Doesn't look like he'll be able to catch him, though.
Did they just see him? They saw him. Shigetsu. Oh, Kiritic, jump forward. Oh my god.
Scary moments, man. And it's a quick Roche respawn as well. It's got to spawn up top, but it'll move down bottom pretty damn quickly. So, and there's little things favoring Na'Vi, the fact that they're going to be able to fight around that outpost area. I mean, we haven't even talked about FNG. I think he's been pretty solid all through this game as well. 3, 3, and 15. Solar Crest, Drums, Specialists Array is one of the big reasons why Seneko was able to do so much in that previous series that we watched with Storm. And it just provides so much to a position 5 Nature's Prophet who's almost got his Aghanim Scepter as well.
Extra things that Na'Vi need to worry about them. You've already got so much AoE control with the Earthshaker, with the Willow, with the Monkey as well. Now you have to be concerned about the Wrath of Nature even rooting you inside. So 12,000 net worth lead, and it does not seem like, at least again last game Na'Vi at this position, they were clawing their way back in fights. They were starting to win, but VP have been overwhelmingly winning these past couple of fights, and we'll see if this is going to be the case once again.
They know Roshan's up, but they're just putting themselves once again in the position that's going to give them the most vision advantage. You see Malik showing on the lane. He's wanting to not give too much away. He's even got the Vindicator's axe, so if he's the one that's getting dueled, he's at least going to have a lot of that extra damage and armor component.
First one to run in forward. Really good wave of terror. Stops the blink at both these two heroes. But now Melajul's kind of caught in an awkward position. Ran forward to the Bramble with a Wukong's Melajul. Despective and Squad X dunks on their head to finish the fight. Virtus.pro again. 3 fights in a row. Unscathed. Roche now for the grand prize, and the lane's in a great position for them to capitalize and get some objectives.
Yeah, I mean, I found that a little bit odd, right? Like, he, on the Death Prophet, he's even got the Ogre Seal Totem, didn't end up popping it to try and get a little bit further away from a big part, because he was so well isolated once again by a fantastic Fisher from Squad X. And I mean, without that BKB, he was just complete food for them. Went in deep with the Shiva's Guard for the additional vision, which feels kind of nice. But yeah, I mean, how are you supposed to connect through to the rest of the team? The Fisher, I'm going to mention again for Squad X, even clipped onto the Rubik, who has that Aghanim Shard from the previous Tormentor. So he wasn't even able to get the save or the 4-staff off.
I couldn't see, was that the Fissure or the Boundless? It was something that even got the Venge as well to stop the swap.
Fisher.
Okay, I mean, that,
So
again, incredible. Wow. Coming kind of grouped up as well, everyone around this top side. Do at least have a pretty good lane ward.
No Wukongs, no Echo for at least a little bit.
Apparently you have a greater healing Lotus now for Notice, so...
Get the cheese, the block of cheese, come on.
It's just a meme at this point. Kiritic, I mean, he saw Malik and even gonna get a glimpse of Denial. Another kill. Oh, Melody ate the Wrath of Nature too. Can he get him rained on Notice? Yes, he can, thanks to Squad X. Up to 140 damage now.
This is where we really do see VP playing their best donor, right? Where they're able to do well in the lanes and then up the tempo into so much more. Their positioning has been really solid. They've been putting Na'Vi on the back foot consistently, and they've just got an overwhelming amount of that burst damage that they require. So, you know, one of the best heroes in the game at being able to have that outside of the Tiny probably is the Earthshaker, especially when it's a comfort hero for Squad X. And, well, you're going to have even more of that. He's gone for the level 20 talent for the Echo damage coming through, so he's just begging for an opportunity to be able to land one of these big ones in these team fights. 2% win probability for Na'Vi right now, and well, we were hoping for a game 3 and it looks like we're going to one.
Looks like we are. Definitely not the way we always want some close games, but VP just seeming like they're outclassing Na'Vi in this one in particular. They're gonna try one last desperation fight almost with a full wraparound.
I like it.
See if
like the full wraparound. Squishy target.
Sayush would be nice. It's daytime though. Shigetsu will jump onto Natus. Meanwhile, Squad X again, dude. These Echo Slams just tearing them apart. They never stood a chance. They're going to try and do whatever they can. Rubik gets back inside the base off the back of the Jewel. The swap is there at the last second, but importantly, it's the cause on Na'Vi that are just unable to stand strong and fight. You've got stuns to worry about, you've got Wukongs to worry about, and when you try and fight inside them, it's never going to go well as Virtus.pro. When was even the last time someone died on this team? What a way for them to send us to a game 3. Very dominant.
Thanks, Griff, for pointing it out.